increased. As you can see here, we have been measuring TCP latency since June, and Akamai, Cisco, and Bings, all served by Akamai, have way too big V6 latency compared to V4. And Yahoo, Hurricane Electric, and Ripe, for example, have no problem with TCP latency. Here are some measurements made by Upnik regarding adoption rate per ISP. As you can see, RCS-RDS is on the first place. In June, at World IPv6 launch, 18.6%. The percentage has been growing ever since to 24.92 right now. The second place is KDDI in Japan, Proxat3 from France, AT&T, and so on. We almost reached 20 gigabit of IPv6 traffic in our network, which in my opinion is huge compared to, let's say, IXs in Europe like Lynx, DKIX, which are huge but only have 3 or 5 gigabit of traffic. Half of the traffic is CDN, and most of the CDN traffic is Google. But we have also 6 gigabit of IPv6 peering, and I include here also IPv6 from transit providers. And about 3 gigabit of traffic is traffic flowing between customers within our network. Most of it, I have to admit, is peer-to-peer. That's why you can see 4 gigabit of upload as well. Some measurements from Google, IPv6 adoption rate per country. Romania is leading this top with 8%. I hope the line is flat because of, I don't know, the summer holiday. And I hope it will increase sooner. IPv6 adoption rate per country, June, World IPv6 launch. Romania was leading with 7.4%. Now we have, in September, almost 11% IPv6 adoption rate. IPv6 adoption rate in Romania, RCS-RDS 25%, Romania 11%. If you take into consideration that the market share for broadband for RCS-RDS in Romania is around 40%, then you conclude the other networks or ISPs in Romania have an adoption rate close to 0, unfortunately. Conclusion. IPv6 transition in RCS-RDS was very, very smooth. I can give you a short example here. I have a personal website with a poll. The question is, are you using IPv6, with different answers? Okay, I'm not using IPv6. I don't know what IPv6 is. I'm using IPv6 for RCS-RDS and so on. 12 plus 28, meaning 40% of the people answered that they don't know what IPv6 is or they are not using IPv6. But when I looked into my website log, I saw that most of them voted from an IPv6 address. Short-term plans, by the end of this year, replace the /64 with a /56 for residential customers and provide IPv6 to all customers of RCS-RDS, including MPLS customers and also business-to-business. We are not using PPP over Ethernet for this kind of customers. Long-term plans, delay as much as possible any sort of carrier-grade NAT. I know there's a presentation about how good is carrier-grade NAT, but this is my personal opinion. Maybe they will succeed to change my mind, but I'm pessimistic about that. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, feel free.
Yes, I see. Well, Lorenzo?
Okay.
Yeah, congratulations for showing the rest of the world the way. But that's what I got up here to say. It occurs to me that given that you have real working V6 and your IP address needs will come mostly from new customers, if those customers are equipped with IPv6 capable CPE devices, you can just use something like MAP instead of doing NAT and use stateless solutions because you already have v6. That's just an idea.
Thank you.
Martin Hannigan, Akamai Technologies. Thank you very much. That was a very excellent presentation. I was particularly interested in the traffic numbers. The Google numbers are very impressive, a little bit easier to measure. Okay. The Akamai platform is fully IPv6 enabled, but on IPv6 days, customers opted in, so not all properties would be served over v6. You would still see, even with v6, the v4 enabled properties as well. With regards to the latency, this is the first time I saw the presentation. I'm going to take your presentation and see if I can figure out what happened there. Okay. There's probably some valid explanations, but I'll get back to you on that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Gert?
Gert Döring. Yeah, well, thanks for showing the world that it can be done. And it will just work. Because I'm sitting in one of these funny countries that have IPv6 since 15 years, and no large broadband providers providing v6. And I hope that this example will help make things happen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is that program providing you the same access technology that they use?
Yeah, sure.
I was about to say, please use a mic, Lorenzo. Phew.
The question to Gert was, do you happen to know if said large broadband provider happens to use the same access technology that they use?
Okay, thanks. Jan?
Jan George, L6 Institute, Slovenia. Thank you. As everybody else told you, great presentation. I hope there are more to come from different countries. My question actually is, you said your short-term plan is to move from dynamic /64 prefix delegation to /56. Will you manage to make it static, or you will continue to use the dynamic madness?
We will continue to use the dynamic /56 address for this kind of customers, residential customers. For business customers, we will use a /48 statically.
Yeah, Tahar Scharf, consultant for German administration. Excellent presentation, thank you.
Thank you.
And you said you adapted DD-VRT and OpenVRT.
Yeah.
Where are these implementations? Are they available? Because it's horrible to look for open routing implementations.
I can give you the image if you want to install it. We install it, for example, on a Linksys WRT54GL.
Yeah, so, but my impression is the maintenance of these projects are stuck to IPv6. It's not public available.
I don't know, anybody?
Can I follow up on that? I mean, if you're looking for IPv6 CPEs, you can buy them. You know, you can buy a Linksys, you can buy D-Link. They all support IPv6. Well, he's not listening, but
coming up later on.
Coming up later on. If you want an IPv6 CPE, go to your favorite online retailer, buy a D-Link or a Linksys, and it will support IPv6. Sure. You don't need to implement your own version of DDWRT today. Yeah, if you go to the World IPv6 Launch Participants page, you will find links to all the manufacturers' pages where they implement IPv6 in their products. And Marco, I'm sure, has even more information on that.
Somewhere later in this session, we'll show some more information on that topic.
But you don't need to customize your router to get v6 support.
But I would like to.
Okay, well, yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Wonderful thing, wonderful presentation. Let's hope in Dublin we can see 100 there. Okay, next up, moving slightly down south into Europe, it's OTE from